carefully.
Of course, the land is our land. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to your anchor man coming to you from the great state of Texas, precisely Houston, Texas. Is a privilege to come to you today. A brief broadcast. I am not going to be here for more than 1 hour because of other commitments that I have to undertake. But I'm excited to be with you today. Please go ahead and you quickly hit that share button. Quickly hit that share button, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Again, I am glad to be here with you today. So much going on. Back on ground zero in the diaspora, everywhere you can imagine. But thank God that we are alive, and for as long as there is life, there is hope. Thank you for tuning in again. I'd like to welcome all of you who are tuning in from across the globe, from Europe, including the United Kingdom, from the USA, from Canada, from Asia, from South America, from the Middle East. Thank you for tuning in. I want to believe, ladies and gentlemen, that most of you who have the capability to download ABS into your television set at home have done so. We want to see at least 10,000 people download ABS onto their television sets at home between now and December. That is our goal. Everybody downloading ABS into their television sets using the Roku app. So many people have done that already, but we are looking for a target of 10,000 people, not just Ambazonians. Please let your friends know they can watch us live 24/7 on Roku television, just as those using satellite in Africa do. Those on satellite are able to watch us 24/7 by way of satellite. The same thing if you are in the diaspora and you have good internet, especially if you are in Europe, in the USA, in Canada. You can also get ABS 24/7 in your home by way of Roku television. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, I am excited. I am glad to come to you today with this very special announcement. I am here today to particularly present to you my running mate for the upcoming elections for September 6th. The Electoral Commission of Ambazonia, ECA, required every candidate to fight alongside his or her running mate. And so we all did that, and it is incumbent upon me to bring that candidate to your knowledge so that you can begin to make your judgments from the decisions that we make. That will come a little bit much later in the broadcast, as I am coming to you with two other issues to discuss, including the abduction of Comrade Abdul Karim. Now we have found out who was actually the abduction, ladies and gentlemen, of Abdul Karim. Now we'll be bringing you one of their faces and also the names behind. So stay tuned. Go ahead, hit your share button. Let's get at least 700. I see the numbers are actually jumping. I want to see at least 700, ladies and gentlemen, before I bring you that news about the abduction of Abdul Karim. Now, you all know Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim is a warrior. We may disagree once in a while, or have our differences with him, but there is no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, where he is, he has offered his best, and he continues to offer his best unapologetically. That is what he has done. That is what he has done and continues to do. And this is the moment we stand for him. I gave the regime in Bamenda and in La République du Cameroon up till Friday, that is tomorrow, to make sure that he is released before they then get to receive our wrath, all of our wrath from the diaspora and from ground zero. And tomorrow is Friday. They were testing to see what we want to do. I can promise that we would indeed do something. We will indeed do something, but I'm coming to that. Please go ahead and you hit your share button. Now, I hear of some announcement for a lockdown, some people calling for a lockdown on ground zero. The interim government hasn't announced one yet. The interim government hasn't called for one yet. However, if there is need for one, as I did announce in the announcement about Abdul Karim, I will come back to announce it, to proclaim it, or I will send out an audio message. If Abdul is not released, listen, it will come. And I can ask you all on ground zero to start preparing. This time it is all for one, one for all. And I made a mistake in that announcement that I made. There is no reason why only Bamenda or Northern Zone should be shut down for Abdul Karim. If anything, every part of Ambazonia has to be shut down for Abdul Karim when that moment comes, when and if it comes. So please, but for now, we have not announced that. I'm coming back to it. Please hit your share button again. I'm looking at the numbers here. The moment we hit 700, I will come to you with this very special presentation on Abdul Karim, and of course the announcement about my candidacy. The announcement about my candidacy, ladies and gentlemen. So please, again, go ahead, hit your share button as you join. Hit your share button as you join. I see the numbers are climbing quickly. Go ahead and do that. Again, we have not yet announced any lockdown. I hope that ground zero listens to this. We have not yet announced any lockdown. There is no way you will hear about a lockdown without hearing from me. I will come out, put out a message to emphasize on it, but right now there is none. There is none. That doesn't mean there will not be any. Again, if there will be one, especially concerning Abdul Karim, I will be coming out to inform you. But for now, go about your business, prepare for a lockdown, that may be announced to get Abdul Karim out of the dungeons in upstation Bamenda. So please, thank you for that. Again, I'm looking at your numbers. Please go ahead and hit your share button. Now, I came out last week, ladies and gentlemen, to announce, I think what was it this week? Was this week, Monday, and announce my candidacy running for the leadership of Ambazonia, the presidency of Ambazonia. I see so many people saying, we would like to ask Secretary Chris a question. Ladies and gentlemen, you can take this to the bank. I promise coming to you on Monday. If everything goes well, I will come to you on Monday. I will come to you with my running mate that Monday. We will open the phone lines and you can call and ask any question that you like to ask. Find out whatever you want to find out about what I want to do as your leader, the leader of this struggle. I think that it is my place to come to you and open the phone lines. You call in, ask any question that you want to ask per the vision, the direction that we want to take this struggle to. Ladies and gentlemen, the struggle has been on the, what do they call it, on a ventilator. The struggle has been in a ventilator. We are going to resurrect it, and I promise you, resuscitate it. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. So, but on Monday, if you have any question, I just wish we can take as many questions as we can. We will open the phone, spend about 2 hours taking your questions and answering them, in the course of which we will explain to you the vision, the direction, what we would love to do to bring back this struggle to where it was, ladies and gentlemen, about 3 or 4 years ago. Talking about between 2018 to 2020. We like to take us back there in the sense that we were united. We spoke almost with one voice. People were enthusiastic to support the struggle, put in their money to support the struggle. This struggle had some intelligent, smart, experienced men and women who were working for the struggle. At this moment, we see very, very few of them. Not even in your cabinet, ladies and gentlemen. When I say your cabinet in the plural, I'm referring to the past and the present. We're going to bring back people who have experience, people who are knowledgeable, people who are smart, people who know the history, the story, the narrative of Ambazonia, people who can knock door and tell the story of Ambazonia to any diplomat in the world. We're having a crop right now that is essentially just making noise. You give them a mission for Ambazonia, they cannot tell the narrative. They cannot explain what we are fighting. If you ask some people to go and tell a diplomat about Ambazonia, they go and tell them how we were cheated in 1961. They don't need to hear that now. They know that story. That is what I have heard everywhere I go. They know the story. It doesn't move them anymore. What moves them now is the current suffering and the killings. That's the narrative now. And that is the story we have to take to the world, because no human being should go through what we in the southern Cameroons, our people in the southern Cameroons are going through. And we need intelligent, smart, educated, experienced men and women who can take this message across the globe and sell our story. And I promise you, I want to bring together those kind of people. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, please keep on hitting your share button. I want to see 700 right now, a little bit over 5. But I wanted to remind you that please get ready for Monday. I will take every one of your questions. Every one of your questions. And you know that I don't shy away from anything, because they say if you want to go to equity, you go with clean hands. I can defend everything, my record, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you should realize that every one of us running in this race, we all have a record. I have been here since 2016, number 1, when this struggle began. And I have seen all, I have done all, I have sat in every meeting, and I contributed to decision making, and I can assure you, I can relate to every decision, answer question to every decision that I have been part of in these interim governments. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I want to offer that opportunity to everyone to come on Monday. If you are lucky for your number, for your call to go through, you ask your question, I will be more than glad not to shy away, but to answer your questions. All right, please go ahead and hit your share button. And while you do so, I see something making the rounds, ladies and gentlemen. I see something making the rounds. It is not some how do I put it? Well, you have it on the screen. Yaoundé, their media. Other fools panic. Yaoundé in their media, in other fools panic. When I say other fools, I'm actually referring to the blacklegs and the enablers within. I mean, within us, in the struggle. Panicking, ladies and gentlemen. The moment that I came out and said, Chris Anu, I am running to be your president. We saw their newspaper headlines in La Republique du Cameroon. Chris Anu spells doom. Chris Anu spells doom. How many times have those newspapers, ladies and gentlemen, ever published a story on this struggle, about this struggle? How many times? For 6 years. Unfortunately, I see some naive people just buying those headlines, and they are jittery, they are afraid. Chris shouldn't have said this. Chris shouldn't have said this. Again, how many times have those damn newspapers in La Republique du Cameroon, English newspapers, published the story of this struggle? They don't. But they cut a little headline, spells doom. Spells doom, and they put there, and some of you are so jittery about it. Ladies and gentlemen, for as long as some of us are here, there will be no doom here in this struggle, because out of 8 million, it will take the last person standing for doom to be spared. So ignore those funny newspaper headlines meant to place their masters in Yaoundé. Yeah, we may be running out of finances or whatever, but that is why I am doing what I am doing. That is why I am running, because I know we will bring back money into the struggle, and I know we will win the struggle. The only doom that I have seen is what's going to be happening to La Republique du Cameroon when I take over the leadership of this interim government after September 6th. That is the only doom that I see. That is the only doom that I see. And that is why I warn every Ambazonian living anywhere in La Republique du Cameroon, in Douala, in Yaoundé, in Bafoussam, Mbunda, Chang, please take this seriously. Please take this seriously. Doom is coming. Doom is coming to Yaoundé. Doom is coming to Douala. Doom is coming to Bafoussam. It is coming to Chang. All these neighboring towns and cities in La Republique du Cameroon. If you are Ambazonian living there, I promise you, I warn you, begin to arrange your things to get back to your community, to your local government, to your county, to your city. Begin to do that. Many people have said things in the past and just make empty noise. Nothing happened. That reign, that time where that many things were promised, many things were said, nothing happened. That time is over. That moment is over. If you are Francophone living anywhere in Ambazonia, please, that also moment has come for you. The time we told you to pack and leave, you refuse to leave. That moment is over. It is over. So please, that is where I see doom. That is where I see doom. The doom is coming to La Republique du Cameroon, their towns and their cities. And I have said, listen, Ambazonia cannot continue to bear the damage. The damage in this war has to be collateral. In the first place, we didn't call for war. We cannot sit like shaking out people and allow La Republique du Cameroon walk into our villages, walk into our communities, walk into our counties, burn down our hospitals, burn down our schools, kill our people, and just walk away freely. We have to take it to the other side and damn the consequences of those who say, what will happen to Anglophones over there? I am telling them, the moment has come. You pack back home. Times have changed. We have to take the bull by the horns. So please, ignore all those their dirty headlines out there, and I realize that the fools among us, people who were out, ladies and gentlemen, saying we want freedom. Have you realized that people on the Sako people are now so much supporting Lady Marianta, ladies and gentlemen, the one they fought and made caricature of. They are now so much supporting Lady Marianta, as if, oh, she is the angel. She is the best thing that happened to Ambazonia. But yesterday, only yesterday, they were attacking her. They were making caricatures of her, ladies and gentlemen, and calling her a puppet. But today, they hear her. When these things begin to spin round the way they are spinning, they are saying, know that they have envisaged danger. They realize if I take over this leadership, they are done. They are done, and I promise them, ladies and gentlemen, all those things will crumble. We will build this struggle back to what it was in 2018. The men and the women who made this interim government what it is today, but then walk away because of differences, we will bring them back on board. We will bring them back on board. And the other groups out there who have proven they are fighting on the ground, we will work with them. And even if it means the interim government sponsoring their activities, we will do it, because if the interim government is getting the bulk of the money and other groups have forces on the ground and they don't have the money to do what they can do, we'll look for the projects they want to undertake. We sponsor those projects because it is Ambazonia's money. It is not interim government's money. It is Ambazonia's money. And so groups like the APLM that we know are actually trying to do something, we engage them. We can give them the money to carry out their own projects if the money is a problem. All right, we'll come back to that. But again, remember, Monday, I shall be here to answer all of your questions with my running mate. But again, be very smart. Don't be naive with all the negativity that you see out there. We will run this campaign in a very clean manner, discussing the issues, ladies and gentlemen, how to prosecute the war, how to take us to Boya, how to evict La République du Cameroon occupying soldiers from our territory. We will prosecute this war around that. How to raise funds that prosecute this struggle. How to get international backing, financial backing, material backing for this support. We have been fighting for 6 years and no single international body has looked at us and extended a hand of support. I think the moment has come that we get it. If we do not get it, this war may go for 50 years. But if we get it, we shorten the length of it and free our people. You can trust me, we will knock those doors, and we know exactly which door we're going to be knocking. So take note of that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will take you to the subject of Abdul Karim. The subject of Abdul Karim. You all know that Comrade Abdul Karim was picked up last week at in Tamalung. I actually understand it was around the area that they call Paco, is it Paco Vita? The area they call Paco Vita in Bamenda. I understand that he had gone out with his driver, and the driver dropped him, turned back, went back, and was returning to go pick Abdul Karim. The colonial forces, occupying forces in that area, they call it Paco Vita. I think Paco Vita used to be around GBHS. I think that's in Tamalung, I believe. So the forces stopped the driver again for the second time. And no, first, when they were going, the forces, the gendarmes and the army, they stopped Abdul Karim with his driver, searched his car, search him, and allowed him to go. They left, the driver dropped him, turned back with the car. And then when he was going to pick him back, he took the same road. And then they stopped him there again for a second time. When they stopped him for the second time, they will not release him until Abdul Karim showed up. When Abdul Karim showed up, they picked him up and they allowed the driver and the family to leave. They picked him up, they took him to, I believe, upstation. First of all, they pretended as if they were taking him upstation. Somewhere along the road, around upstation, as they were climbing the hill, another military truck showed up, stopped, and they removed Abdul Karim from the truck. They were carrying him and put him in that other truck, took him back downtown, alone, somewhere downtown, where they had him locked up. I think the following day, again, he was removed from there, back up station. Now he is where they call Gendarmerie Legion, or no, those French names. Legion, up station Bamenda. That is where he is right now. And so, he is being interrogated after putting out a message a few days ago about allowing his family and allowing his lawyers to visit with him. I was told that he is now being consulted with his lawyers. His family has been able to see him, visit with him, but he is still locked up and he has not been charged with anything. He has not been charged with anything, but they still hold him in detention. Now, we have said from this interim government that Abdul Karim must be released. Abdul Karim must be released. Now, do not forget, this is the second time they are picking him up. The first time they picked him up, remember, that was when they picked up my mother, they picked up my sister, and they all met in Set in Yaoundé. They all met in Set, Yaoundé. That was the first time. That was, I think, about 2 years ago today. But now he is back there up station Bamenda, and they don't want to release him. They are having, I understand, some lawyers talk to him. But what is important is that we now know how he got there. Abdul Karim was set up. Again, Abdul Karim was set up. Abdul Karim was set up. Look at the face on the screen. Look at the face on the screen. That is a man. That is a man who set up Abdul Karim. Now, there are two brothers. The face you see on the screen is called Hamza Danpulo. Hamza Danpulo. His brother is called Baba Danpulo. Now, this is not Amadou. This is not, we're not talking about, is it Muhammadu or Amadou Danpulo, the big business guy. No, these are sons. These are sons or relatives, as I learned. These are the people, ladies and gentlemen, who connived and got Abdul Karim Ali to be picked and locked up incommunicado for a while in the gulags in Bamenda. The face you see on your screen is the face of a black leg, and with his brother, I understand that Hamza, the one you are seeing on your screen, works with Elekam, works for Elekam in Bamenda, and both of them live in Old Town. They live in Old Town, Bamenda. They are behind the abduction of Abdul Karim. This is what I also learned. I learned that this guy, Hamza and Baba, the two brothers, they are in the habit of setting up young men in Old Town and around Bamenda for pickup for abduction by La République du Cameroon soldiers. I was made to understand that last week, the same men, the two brothers initiated the abduction of 12 Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, 12 young men in Old Town. La République picked them up and locked them up, severely tortured. The 12 are still in detention. I understand they are also in the they are also upstation Bamenda. Was it yesterday that we learned that the Red Cross and International Red Cross and Red Crescent, they paid a visit to that dungeon upstation Bamenda to visit Abdul Karim. Before they got there, they had changed the room in which, the pit in which they dumped Abdul Karim. They changed it, took him to a cleaner room, cleaned it, put a nice bed in there, and brought the Red Cross and the Red Crescent to come and see, to give the impression that Abdul Karim is well taken care of. Whereas they just transferred him to that room to save face before the Red Cross and the Red Crescent. That happened yesterday. Upstation, Bamenda, Legion, what? Legion something they call it. So, but Hamza Danpulo and Baba Jibri Danpulo, they are the two brothers behind the abduction of Abdul Karim and 12 other young men picked up in Old Town. Now I learned the thing has become so rampant in Old Town that people in Old Town, when they see them, the two Danpulos approaching, everybody disappears. Everybody disappears. They are fond of setting up people, calling the La République cops to pick them up. Among the 12 that were picked up last week, I understand that one was severely tortured. He lost his leg, and what is remaining is getting rotten, ladies and gentlemen, getting rotten. One of the legs is getting rotten. So, that is the story. Now, again, I came out last time and I stated that if Abdul Karim is not released on or before tomorrow, Friday, Ambazonia, the northern zone will be shut down. We will reverse that because there is no reason why only the northern zone should be shut down when one of us is picked up. If Abdul Karim is not released between now and the end of the day on Friday, Ambazonia prepare for a shutdown. All of Ambazonia prepare for a shutdown. La République du Cameroon thinks that they are having an upper hand in this battle right now. I will tell them no. They haven't seen anything yet. They haven't seen anything yet. Ambazonia is still completely, totally resolved to prosecute this war to the logical end that we are in Boya. So, the doctrine now is one for all for one. One for all for one. You may have your disagreements, your differences with Abdul Karim. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt he fights and stands for a free and independent Ambazonia. And he wouldn't mind me saying this even though he is behind bars, because he is a courageous person. He is a very courageous person. Tell me who on ground zero has taken the bullets that he has? Who on ground zero has been brave enough to do that? We need people like him on ground zero. We need more Abdul Karims on ground zero. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we stand up for Abdul Karim, all of Ambazonia. La République du Cameroon is giving up to tomorrow, Friday, end of the day, for Abdul Karim to be released. Abdul Karim is not released end of the day tomorrow. I will be back. I will be back to tell you when we shut down Ambazonia. That is the message. So please, if you are on ground zero, anywhere on ground zero, from the northern to the southern zone, get ready. Prepare your home. I know this is uncomfortable, but listen, these are the sacrifices we have to pay in the course of this war. These are the sacrifices we will pay, continue to pay in the course of this war. If you were in this place, we will do just the same. If you were in his place, we will do just the same. We cannot just sit and feel like we are powerless and helpless every time they pick off one of us. So that is the message. That is the face on your screen. Hamza Danpulo and his brother Baba Danpulo, they orchestrated the abduction of Abdul Karim. They orchestrated the abduction of Abdul Karim. And again, La Republic has until the end of the day tomorrow to make sure that Abdul Karim is a free man. But if they do not, I don't want to make a lot of noise about it. They should wait for us. They should wait for us if they do not. I will not make, again, a lot of noise about it. I will wait for them to see what we're going to do. What we're going to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are praying that Abdul comes back to us tomorrow, and so we don't have to call a lockdown. We don't have to call a lockdown. We're hoping that he comes home tomorrow and we do not have to call a lockdown. I pray so. All right. Thank you for tuning in again. At this moment, I will take you to the story of the day, the appointment of my running mate. The appointment of my running mate. Before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, I will take a few seconds out before I come back to you. I will take a few seconds out before I come back to you. So I like you to stay tuned. I like you to stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. All right, where is it? and gentlemen, thanks for staying put out there. I come to you with a very important segment of this broadcast dealing with the appointment of my running mate for this election that we are facing in the matter of about 2 weeks. Yes, I think about 2 weeks. The elections coming up, taking place September the 6th. September the 6th. And again, as I said before, the Electoral Commission of Ambazonia required every candidate to file alongside their running mates. Of course, they did not announce the running mate. I mean, the Electoral Commission, they did not, but they expect us to announce it, having filed with them. And so I thought to come to you today to reveal to you who is running alongside me in this campaign for president or leader of Ambazonia for the next 3 years. I'm sure you should be asking what criteria did Secretary Chris use in picking a vice president? I will give you a little brief on that before I bring him in to address you. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know that Ambazonians are found all over the globe. In Asia, in the Middle East, in South America, in America, the continental America, Europe, everywhere you can imagine. But you will agree with me that a good chunk of Ambazonians, of about 2 million that live in the diaspora, they live between Europe and the USA. There is no doubt about that. And these two places also happen to be the part of the diaspora where the funds to prosecute the revolution are coming from, Europe and the USA. And so when I was thinking of a running mate, taking into consideration the fact that money is what concerns the diaspora in this world, I thought we cannot have the president and the vice president all located in one location, one geographical location, as we have now. That cannot be. I think from the time of Sisiko, we never knew who the vice president was. Honorable Weber said he was never the one. Under Sako, we had a vice president first coming from South Africa and then from Europe. Under Iya Marienta, we have the president and the vice president all in Europe. But in this case, I thought it is not good to have both of them coming from the same location. It is good we have a president in the USA and then a vice coming from Europe. We need respectable men and women in these locations that can galvanize Ambazonia to the effect that we raise enough funds to prosecute the war. And so this was one of the considerations that I looked into in picking who my running mate should be. But I also look at the area of integrity, honesty. I looked at those two, and I think I made a very, very good choice after consultations with my team, the team that is helping me run this campaign. So we resolve on somebody that all of you, I believe, know. He is a regular face here on ABS, but you will agree with me after seeing the name is right there on the screen. If you don't remember the name, you see the face, you will know. You will know. He is an intelligent man, a smart man, well-spoken, articulate, experienced, and with integrity and dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of presenting to you my running mate for the president of Ambazonia, and he is no other person but the Honorable Reverend Alfred Njini, based in, I think, Stuttgart. Is it Stuttgart, Germany? You will confirm that. Comrade, good to see you, sir. Good evening.
Evening, the anchor man, Comrade Chris. It's my pleasure to be part of this great time for Ambazonian and the people who are passionate for the cause. Just like you say, I am based here in Germany and in one small town within Stuttgart. So if you want to find me, check me around there. To those who are interested, want to know, like you say, the Stuttgart is the chief town or the headquarters of my region, and I'm not far from there. So it's a privilege to be a part of this deal in a time like this. And some people may have heard of me, some may have read from me, not knowing that it's me. Few may have seen me on television, which means that I'm not new to this revolution, like Comrade Chris already said. It's a great privilege to come your way, patriotic people of Ambazonia and all sympathizers of our cause. We have been committed. We rose up in the wind that blew the end of 2016 for a justified cause, a cause that is true before men and the legal powers of the world, a cause that is true and transparent before God, a cause that men and women who discover will want to not only put down their hands in commitment and sacrifices, but put their head and their lives to die for this cause. My name's, like you heard already from our able anchor, Comrade Chris, is Alfred Achonjini. I'm born in one little corner of Bello local government area called Ngemsebo of the southern Cameroons. And I am not just new to this struggle. Since when the wind blew, early 2016, or at the end of 2016, I stood up for this cause right there in the lion's den. I remember in those early days when I shared out messages on social media to colleagues, some of them with whom we even formed teams to pray for the cause. But some resisted, say, "Oh, don't distract me. I'm focused to praying. I don't like to see this kind of messages." I say, "How dare you pray without a sense of direction?" I think this would have been here to inform you, to canalize your passion and zeal with prayers in focus. Some understood, some did not understand. We move on, and I was passionate about the cause. And in 2018, while the heat of the struggle was rising up, my life was being haunted, and I discovered that, and God rescued me from the lion's den. But before I moved out in 2018, one of the sad things that happened that provoked me so much and grew my passion was the fact that the La Republique brutal terrorist army came into our compound, and on the 10th of May 2018, they pulled out my father from the compound, took him behind the backyard, shot him brutally to death. The only person who was with him in our compound during that time was my stepmother, who, upon hearing the gunshot, ran out, saw the door open from our own house, tried to find around, called those who were around. They came just to find him bleeding to death, and in a few minutes he died. I was not able to partake in his burial. None of us, like his children, no man. In fact, all the youth and the men around ran for their lives. Women had to rally and bury him the next day. It was quite shocking that before 7 a.m., the La Republique military were all around, which was a sign they were in charge of what happened. Not only that, I lost one of my dear brothers, a first cousin, who was a gentle, good guy living within Bello. In his compound in above BCHS, Njini, they came and picked him out. And few minutes, they drove to the ABC or Acha Baptist College, secondary school, where they shot him to death, you know, pick, pull out his dresses and drop him to a river. News, somebody called me and said, "This is what happened. I got reliable information. Your cousin has been shot dead, like many others." I had to call some family members, inform them. That was on the 9th of July, 2018. After a lot of search, For about 3 weeks, we found the corpse in the outskirts of the comland, which was already decaying, and the burial took place there. I only saw pictures. I've lost extended family members besides friends. Some of you heard about the Sam Sawyer, the famous Sam Sawyer. Those are guys with whom I had been with them very close day in and day out, where I was doing ministry in the early beginning in the 90s, And Amigo, some of you have heard, and many, many things of others, just like it has happened everywhere in the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Why am I trying to bring out this kind of introduction of myself? To let you know, I have not been watching the struggle, I have been in the struggle. Before my escape, sharing information on social media to South Africa and to where I am at the moment, I was very passionate about that. And some people even told me, well, you are risking your life and that of your family. I say, I have to stand up for the cause. I have to join the voices of those who are calling the attention of the powers that be in the international community to rise up or to intervene for the cause, which was right. We live in a time where you don't have to be silent to evil, and you have to speak out. God wants us to speak out. That's the truth. When we speak out and the powers that be don't respond to, God will intervene and do whatever he will do justly to glorify his name and to liberate his people. So, beside those efforts, I have been quite committed to the struggle. One of the things that I got involved in 2020, January 2020, 1st of January, was the burden to start praying passionately for this struggle. I was glad to come to know a lot of people are praying for the struggle too. Some with whom we are connected in different forums, praying now. But ceaselessly, from the 1st of January 2020 till date, you may have been seeing prayer topics in some forums. Total liberation for the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. I have authored that prayers, or those prayers, champion them till date. I keep sending them out. Tomorrow I'm going to send out the ones I'm sending tirelessly, besides praying with people in different forums. And in 2020, still, I was not just doing this on my own. I had to join those who are passionate from my own local government area. That's Bello local government area and my county, Boyo. We worked together. I was part of the executive committee. I was the secretary general. I worked there with them all through. And facing the challenges we went through. And in June 2020, I was nominated and sent into the Restoration Council of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia to represent them. And I stood strong. I took shoulders up and heads up to what is true and to what is transparent. And to few of you who know me and have listened to me, I have built up a life of transparency and integrity, which, whether I'm within a known environment or an unknown environment, I decide to live up to that challenge, which is what for in the world that is going wrong. That's the challenge I put up till now. And I had wanted to bring out this little introduction of myself and where I'm coming from, so that you guys will know I'm not just a Johnny just come like some people think or some may say about other people. People will always say things about people. I don't know what has been said about me. I don't know what will be said about me, but I'd like you to hear from the horse's mouth. I'm very grateful for the introduction that Comrade Chris brought forth here about me. He spoke from the abundance of the little that he knows about me or the much that he knows about me. And some will bear witness. That is true. And I pray that God will grant me the grace to be able to measure up to what people will be expecting. Dear patriotic people of Ambazonians and sympathizers of our cause, I am here today to remind that we Ambazonians are committed without any shrinking back to the cause that we took up for that late 2016. And we have submitted our lives to it. Some of us have given in all and all. Some have grown tired in the midst of the struggle. But I'd like you to understand that this little introduction about me and what I'm about to say more and more is the fact that each and every one of us Ambazonians, we are either infected or affected in this struggle. We have lost dear ones in our tears and sorrows. no one can suit them better than God. And if it must be done rightfully, it will be when God grants us the full statehold of our country, the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. And we are grateful for His grace that sustained us this far, despite the challenges. And we believe, like His word says, that the hand that brought us this far will sustain us through to the end. It will bring to a perfection what He started in our lives. I want to, before saying other things, send out my words to every Ambazonian restoration fighter, the field marshals, the generals, the commanders, and every one of them in their capacity. I know some of them from my local government area. I have a track record of their commitment, their sacrifices, and many from everywhere in the Southern Cameroons, the exploit they've been doing. Beside the fact that many of us have laid down our lives and sacrifices to sustain the struggle this far, for which we are here, because we have this privilege to talk to you. I, one, standing with Secretary Chris, it's just because you have stood ceaselessly, committedly, unreservingly with your sacrifices this far. And we can hail and stand shouting kudos to all the Amazonian restoration fighters. A 21-gun salute to you. Your flag is seen and known by every Ambazonian. Without you, we will not have a story to tell this far. You have been on the lifeline of death and life, day after day, haunted with your homes abandoned, your comfort abandoned, because you want to sustain the struggle. We have listened to some of you with a lot of passion that some of us could not have had. And I feel God called us at different ends to do different things. While we do coordination and diplomacy, we admire your zeal, and we can only but hail and say, move on. And then pray that the grace that has sustained you this far will keep protecting, preserving, Chris already publicly. And if I'm here as a running mate standing with him, it's from the passion of the manifesto he has presented. And more than that, from my little knowledge to who he has been, I want to acknowledge before every Ambazonia, or remind to the fact that despite the fact that we have lost FMA, who is gone, who's raised the flag and raised up the spirit and qualified many field marshals in ground zero and generals and commanders, and has sustained the struggle and had been a nightmare to La République du Cameroon. We had the privilege to have Comrade Chris, whose voice and sound of intonation has been terror to La République du Cameroon. That is why you can see some of the newspapers running with unreasonable news headlines, because they have been paid to do so against him. He has been a nightmare. That is true. Amongst the people who have championed and pulled on this struggle in the diaspora, his voice has remained outstanding. You have known. Some of us have even testified. This guy was born for this. He's only qualified and even condemned to remain in the lifeline of updating the struggle. I want to say more than that. That is a plus in his life. And if you understand this, and I've seen him as a man who have stood through the corridors of the Libyan leaderships till the temporal transitional government that we have, you will know that amongst every one of us that's showing up, or those who are showing up, there is no one qualified like him, because he's a man with a conscious knowledge of who had been. And we will need to admit to the fact that the steam or the force that we stood up in the beginning for this struggle is no more there. But somebody who had been there in the beginning, have seen, have known, have shared and rubbed shoulders with people who stood up as that wind blew, knows exactly some of the things that caused some of the people to grow weary, grow tired, like fainting or collapse. And to those who are many sitting on the fence, watching to see, maybe praying and lamenting, God, we cannot afford to let this struggle go down. We have reason never to fall, and we cannot quit. Because if we do, La République may live to treat Ambazonians less than slaves. That is the one thing you and I must put in our mind of consciousness, which will remain a motivating drive to all that we need to do to stand up as one man. That is the truth. It were better we never stood up than we did and then never live to quit. Because we and our people will be treated less than slaves in our own land for our own cause. God forbid. So this is a man who knows the left and right and has proven word in his able capacity of not only communicating, but maintaining strategic relationships, and knows the doors we can knock, the gates we can push open through diplomacy to find our way through. And I'd like you to understand that I have stood out for this cause to give him not just my support, but to give a support to Ambazonians. And I want you and I to stand behind him and have this push through. I'd like you to understand that our confidence is not on our presumptions as human beings or anybody who is able to do anything. It is true that we learn through the course, especially a course like this that we are involved in, because we are on the path we have never been before. And whether we accept it or not, there are some things we will learn through experience. There are three phases of life. We learn. We learn by hearing, through the hearing of the ears. We also learn by seeing when we are privileged to be in the scene or around the events or situations and circumstances. But more than just hearing and seeing, we learn through experiences. And this man had gone through experiences like some of you at one level or the other. And we think we need a radical revolutionarist like him to stand with in such a moment as this. And when we stand with him, I just mentioned our zeal of commitment is not presumptuous on our ability or in his ability or wall of all that he has been able to do this far. It is first on God, but then this struggle and quicken his people, you and I, to an understanding like we do now. That is our first confidence. Believing that every one of us know when this wind blew, nobody was there to stir the zeal of one another at the different ends of the world, the different states of the United States of America, in Canada, in Europe, all over, in Southern Africa, in every part of the world. We have Ambazonians who have stood up for this cause, some till now, and who are committed to a dying point if they must die for the cause. Nobody would have done so. It was God. That is why we name it the God-ordained struggle, and with a lot of evidence of his sustaining hand, despite all the corrupt efforts of the conspiracies of La République du Cameroon and the enablers. So we can believe in him and trust and depend on him to see us through. More than that, or secondly, our commitment, his commitment, my commitment, which is a call for every one of us, is the fact that he just mentioned that before introducing me. We have a team of able Ambazonians who have refined minds, who have also learned through the things we have suffered. I've heard ceaselessly, Ambazonian says, we don't suffer, no be small. That is true. So we have men and women who are passionate for this cause, who have been refined through the things we have suffered, who can speak and reiterate without mixing of facts, and who are committed to nothing less than total restoration of our statehood, our total freedom, our peace, and the grace to prosper as a nation. So these are the people surrounding us. When I came to receive this call, I was reflecting and praying over and sensitively watching to see who is who, thinking like Comrade Chris was thinking like I was thinking and growing my thoughts. And that is the reason I stood out on those two grounds. And more than our trust in God and those able people, the fact that you are there, you have not quitted, you have not grown weary. Some of you have said, I better die than to quit. And your tenacity Your resilience this far is the reason why we can stand out here. I like to say here that we have listened. I listened with compassion the presentation of Comrade Chris the other day, which is a call for Ambazonians at this time to use their senses than their emotions. I listened to. And I like to say that, in the time of campaign like this, you will hear a lot of things, some that you like to hear, some that you do not like to hear, And one of the things people will speak out from facts and sincerity and zeal and commitment, yet in limitations, is that people need to be informed. People are attentive and willing to hear, watching to listen, so that they don't make a mistake. That's the truth. So that wherever we have been, we can lift up the baton from there, move forward. And sometimes the way to do that is to say, well, hey, men, hey, women, hey, patriotic ones and your zeal, we need to understand this and stand out. And some things can be pointed out very exactly. When they are pointed, it is not to say or to slam somebody or to condemn anybody, but to let you and I know that men can do the best they can do, but nobody can give more than he or she has. That's the truth. And sometimes it is to let those who have done their best to know that it is true. It is said, it is better to leave the stage when the applause is up than to quit when everybody is string back. Sometimes when we understand this and we have done our own and done our best in democracy, in a moment like this, during campaigns, some people quit. Some will even resign, which is a good way of coordinating and creating an atmosphere of democracy and transparency, building trust, maintaining reputation. If it were to be for our Lady Marianta, incumbent aspirant to be, who are sustained during this transitional moment, which we say, congratulations, you have done what many people chicken out of. You stood the challenge like some few who have stood and who are standing and who will still stand when many chicken out sheeplessly or sheepishly, without any reason, without the understanding that they were called to serve a cause of the people and not of themselves. Congrats for what you have done this far. But I think if you were to resign at the moment, it would not be like saying, oh, I'm unable to do anything. I have done something which I want Ambazonia to be appreciated. And beside what we are doing before the eyes of the international community, you are saying, I want to set the pace or coordinate an atmosphere of democracy for a rising nation that will be a pace setter to other nations in the world. And more than that, it will be safeguarding and securing better chance for tomorrow in leadership. And that is why many times people stand out for election and somewhere along the line, they quit because they put some things together and then they see, oh, yeah, despite my zeal and this and that, I don't want to mar the opportunity, but I want to make history by securing the future. We accept, I cannot draw close, dear Ambazonians and passionate ones, sympathizers of this struggle. I cannot go wrapping up this little presentation without reiterating some of the facts that were pointed out here. That is true. For Ambazonians in a time like this to understand that the democratic atmosphere has been created by the Restoration Council and put in place commission for elections who are passionate for nothing less than free and fair, transparent election that will set the pace and qualify a better Ambazonia to be, or a nation to be. For members of a cabinet of a government to stand out to challenge the incumbent in election, it's a play for democracy. It's a good game to play. But more than just being a good game to play, it's a testimony that things are not moving well. Things are not going healthily, progressively the way they are taught. There are always things in the revolution like us that can be done to shorten the sufferings of the people and secure victory as soon as possible. And I think such happening at this time is not a weakness of anybody within the cabinet, but a testimony that we need something better, we need something stronger, we need something more challenging, we need something more sharply focused to the point, a radical change and moment. It's a testimony. And I want to also say here that there are a lot of things that are needed in the revolution like us, besides many others. There are three outstanding things that are needed, which I can name out here. One of them is influential leaders, because true leadership is influence. You are able to influence the people who are looking up to you, with some timely actions and visions and direction for the people to follow you without fainting, for the steam not to get lost or grow weak. That is true. And when we get those kind of leaders who are able, with a passionate influence upon their followers, it will create an atmosphere. It will create the atmosphere of meeting up challenging needs and actions that pull the cause or foster the cause for success of the people with fulfillment that nobody will grow weary. Such leaders are seasoned and very proactive. They have developed proactive minds, and they are clothed with humility that pull the people or cause the people to follow them without any compulsion. This is true. Influential leaders will feed their followers with progressive information, for the cause, whereby consciously or unconsciously reviving, refreshing, and renewing with a lot of motivation the zeal of all who are committed to that cause, where they will, without any limitations, keep sacrificing to sustain the struggle without any compulsion, like I mentioned already, for success, which is what every one of us wants. Such leaders who are humble will be selfless, emptying of themselves everywhere and being ready at all costs, even to die for the cause, if need be. We have learned from experience, and we have gone past that junction where you can appoint me or I can appoint you to make you feel satisfied with the pride of being a vice president of the nation or a president of the nation. We have gone past that level. And every one of us Ambazonian at any level, whether local government area, county level, or regional or county or wherever, diaspora or ground zero, we must be passionate to the point where we know the quest for the liberation of the people must be at the higher level than our own pride and whatever may bring us fulfillment. That is the truth. If something should bring you and I fulfillment, it should be the liberation and the cause for living or dying for the people. That is it. The second major thing beside that influential leadership is funds. We need funds. We need money. Money is what drives the engine of every revolution, every organization, every cause. It has been proven true in our generation. Money, and even the Bible says money answers everything. That's the truth. It is true that it is in context, which some people may wrongly interpret to suit their egos, but it is driving out the truth for you and I to understand that we need that more than ever before. It is what will coordinate constant assistance to the fighters in the field of battle in ground zero, we call, which is one of the passionate drive in the manifesto that we are going to reach out timely to do more than ever before, better than ever before, and continue with our fighters in ground zero so that they don't become warriors, because true fighters, they are not warriors, but they remain soldiers. They work with the people, they live with the people, they go with the people. They don't terrorize them. They will not harass them for any reason. It is true we have had all kinds of people in the name of Amber fighters harassing and frustrating people in ground zero, but we have passionate Ambazonian restoration fighters who are committed to clean the land, and more than ever before. That's why we hear Secretary Chris speaks with the kind of intonation he does. It is going to be no play game for anyone at any level. Every Atanganji boy, every counterfeit Ambazonian fighter from La Republic, every thief and recalcitrant case that has been fooling around will be handled by the grace of God and also through human efforts or commitment. But we need funds. It is these funds, more than just sustaining Ground Zero, that grants the efficiency and success in efforts of reaching out in diplomacy, knocking the right doors that be, pushing through the right gates that be, moving from one place to another, taking essential actions that will pull the powers that be for the actions that must be taken. We need that more than ever before. And with the little experiences of learning from the past, we can move on with confidence, knowing we need to work this out than ever before. We are all informed and can be reminded and reiterated. We have seen this present government struggling in the early beginning of some few months ago, when we were trying to rescue the struggle from the hands of con men and con women. In general assemblies, we could have hundreds and thousands sometimes of people attending those meetings. But mind you, today, it's not the case. Many times we have attended meetings. I don't know the last meetings you attended, but for me, the last meetings I attended, not one, not two, we don't reach 100. And if we don't have those people who are committed to sacrifice, it means we are not influencing them enough. Because leadership, it is not the talk, it is the walk. So influential leadership works through or works out by walking the talk. And that is done, and when that is done with the leader that is there, it influences the people the more, and the fund cost the more. We need that than ever before. God forbid that anything less than victory happen to us. So when you see Comrade Chris speak like I can do with a lot of passion, so we look into the future, and if we don't rescue and do things that are right to be done, take the right action to get the right people on board to safeguard and sustain the struggle, we are at risk. It's a challenge for you and I. It is true the enemy can take it on the other hand, which is his duty, and run with it, redefine it, Photoshop it, and then bring it out. But you and I must know and understand. This is a time Ambazonians must work with their minds of knowledge and understanding and intelligence than ever before. Let no true Ambazonia be carried by the soul of emotion and destruction to whatever you're about to do. It is a time you think and give in your vote to sustain us for this election. Now, the third thing, I've mentioned that already, diplomatic moves and all that need to be done. We need that than ever before. If you vividly can remember, which I will not forget, because I've been working together with Comrade Chris and the team that be in place. 4 things that cannot be forgotten, which I'd like you to know. We are committed to do, to improve things and to carry the baton forward for the better of Ambazonia. Is building bridges to synergize all that needs to be from the different umbrellas of those people who are passionate for the total liberation of Ambazonia. In the diaspora, exactly. You and I know, we have had calls from the Amazonian restoration fighters ceaselessly. We want you people to unite here and there and do this and that. And some of the essential doors we have knocked at the level of diplomacy have said, you guys have a problem. Make sure you unite, come together, give us a way forward. We are confused. We need to coordinate that reconciling efforts of building bridges and to have cohesion to sustain this struggle at different levels with every faction of passionate people or leaders together. That's true. We must come to a point where we know it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about the people. And when as we have been hearing and listening and knowing some of those people and yet to know more, as many as are available, we're going to see what to do to make sure we synergize everything we have and work as one man. It will not be a cause of only the IG doing anything, or leaving some of the guys who are passionate fighting, but not having the privileges that the IG has to grow weary or be affirmed where La Republic may overtake them. No, they need to be fed, they need to be refreshed, they need to be sustained and motivated to pick up the challenge. That is true. Now, we have heard, and it is true, we are going to kindle the fire of this revolution, and La Republic will be shocked. That is the simple truth. There are strategies in place. That's why caution is being given there, so that our people who know should understand there is no safe harbor within the premises of the enemy. That is true. Whatever may be done to shorten the struggle should be done. We are committed for that. And more than ever before, people have been asking me, and I know they have been asking Comrade Chris and many other people. I just received a phone call before coming online or coming on air now. And I told the person, I said, we can talk. One of the questions he has been asking me, what about the Swiss talks we have heard about? When are they going to be? What's delaying it? How far has it been here and there? More than ever before, we are going to re-energize and relaunch our efforts of not only having one channel that can coordinate that, but get hold of the essential bridges wherever a good talk can be built, so that we don't suffer frustration and limitation by one hand that is trying to tie the bundle more than ever before. So this is a call. I don't want to belabor us here. We will be coming up, like Chris already mentioned, on Monday. We're coming up there to listen to Ambazonians, answer to some questions and worries in their minds of many people sitting on the fence, minds of those who are green weary, minds of those who are still passionate and don't want to risk anything in such a time, so we can be able to strike to the point. So I'd like you to know your vote for me is a vote for Secretary Chris. And it is not just a promise we are giving to you, it's an oath we have taken. An oath to stand true in word and in action for this cause. And by the grace of God, we are going to stand back to back, one to another, and circled by a team, like I said, of refined people, men and women, who are there with watchfulness to close every loophole and every gap that can suffer frustration from the manipulations and conspiracies of La République du Cameroon and their enablers. And beg you, when this is done, it will come to pass the prophecy that every true passionate Ambazonia says, short live the struggle, long live the Federal Republic of the Southern Cameroons. That's where I yield. And my blessings go to every one of you. May God bless you. May God bless us. May God bless our people. May God grant us the grace as He shortens the struggle and establish our longevity, that we will be able to testify in the fullness of joy and fulfillment. And not only that, but be the image nation that has set the pace for other nations of the world in a time like this. Ambazonia is an icon, and we are privileged to be the stars that have to shine, even like it's seen in our flag. God bless us all, and may God protect us.
a free southern Cameroon.
We will take
They
it.
are looking for some regime change, and they are hoping that when they change the regime. Fellow Ambazonians, what a day, what a day, what a day. I'm very happy to have you on the set of ABS TV for this special edition of our election coverage. You have listened to the candidate for the office of President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, Comrade Chris Ano, and his vice presidential candidate, Reverend Honorable Reverend Njini Alfred. What a team! What a pair! And fellow Ambazonians, with these two revealed to you, the team is now complete. The game is set, and the locomotive is ready. The question is, are you ready? Fellow Ambazonians, it's a pleasant day for Ambazonia. It's a glorious day. Our democracy is being manifested in the eyes of the world. And the maturity of Ambazonia to govern itself is being demonstrated to those who have doubted this far. We are proving to the world that when we say we are independent, we mean it. We mean it by every word, not just independent, but independent and democratic. So, fellow Ambazonians, you have watched for yourself. You have listened to them. You have listened to Honorable Reverend Jenny, an eloquent person, articulate, a decent person in character, moral upbringing, and someone who has personally experienced the scars of the violence that can be emitted by the violent soldiers of La République du Cameroon. He has personally felt the pains of their violence. But this comrade who epitomizes what a presidential candidate ought to be, what a pair, what a selection. And I would not want to talk about this pair, this presidential pair, this couple alone. I have a distinguished panel which will join me so that we can break it down to you. For those of us who may have missed a word here and there in the presentation of these two persons, we will analyze this presidential couple and so that Ambazonians can really understand where they're coming from, who they are, and why they are the best choice for Ambazonia at this point. So, joining me today, I will have Honorable Sama Thomas joining me. I will also have Dr. Atienjo, as well as Chairman Fritz Misori. These three very distinguished comrades in their own qualifications will join me today so that we can all discuss these presidential uh, candidate and vice that have been presented to us today. So, without any much ado, I would like to call on Dr. Chenjo. Are you there, please? Let me know if you are there. Dr. Chenjo, are you signed on? I thought you were signed on a few moments ago. If not, Honorable Sama Thomas,
Yeah.
are you there? Okay, all right. There you go. Dr. Chenjo, you're on. I can see you. Um, I don't know if you want to say something before I bring on the other comrades to
Okay.
join us. Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you for bringing me on board. Today is a very great day for our campaign, which has gathered steam. And as we must have seen, our vice president, the presidential candidate, has been presented today. And I could see the eloquence in his presentation, which we are going to analyze here. When he was making his speech, I have a lot of points, talking
Mhm.
points that I gathered from his speech, and a word of wisdom that is actually poured on Ambazonians. So it is very important, and I'm so grateful that I'm here today to analyze and to so that we can make history in Ambazonia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tianjo. And Honorable Sama Thomas, are you there? Honorable Sama Thomas. I thought he was sign on. If not, Chairman Fritz, if you are there, please let me see you. Chairman Fritz, are you there? I hope they're not having trouble with their connections. I thought they were signed on just a few moments. Okay, okay.
What is happening?
Honorable Sama Thomas is on. Uh, Let me see if your mic is on.
It looks
Is he
like he's
frozen?
frozen. Yes.
I think he
It
may be
looks
frozen. Okay. Honorable Sama Thomas, can you sign off and sign on again? I think you were frozen. What about Chairman Fritz? Chairman Fritz, uh, you may be having trouble signing on. In any case, you can request new codes if you're having trouble with the codes you have for now. And while we will start the analysis of this presidential pair, you can indicate once you've signed back on, please, so we can bring you on board. Just let me know when you're on, and we'll bring you on board so you can join this discussion. Okay, now, uh, Dr. Chenjo, you have listened
yeah.
to Comrade Chris. That's how he prefers that we call him, Comrade Chris. And you have listened to Reverend Njini, Honorable Reverend Njini, in his eloquence, his poise, um, his sense of the moment, knowing exactly where we're coming from, his experience with the injustices from La Republic of Cameroon. So you are on a wholesome evaluation of who this candidate is, or this presidential vice candidate is. What can you say? You said you were taking down some notes. I would like to for you to start bringing to the table what we were able to get from what he told Ambazonians this afternoon.
Yes, thank you, Comrade Mike. I took down a couple of notes and I'm really, really very pumped up. Here, one thing that I would like to mention to Ambazonians is that it is the right time for us to make certain very powerful decisions when it comes to the leadership of our revolution. And here we have two gentlemen who have a unique background. And when I talk about a unique background, I'm talking about the experiences they have had in their lives, the experiences that have prepared them for this special moment in our revolution. Talking, for instance, Comrade Chris has a very humble background where he has experienced a lot of torture. At the level of his family, he has lost loved ones. And one of recently, we were celebrating the life of Phil Marshall and his family. Mother, sister were all locked up. Their house in the village, they do not have a home again, and everything has been destroyed. Their life has been made miserable because of this revolution. And on the part of Reverend Ginny, Honorable Reverend Ginny, he actually explained to us how his father was shot, his friends and his stepmother, a lot of issues that they are suffering. So I would describe these two candidates as candidates that are married with a unique background. This unique background can be epitomized by two words: resilience and fearlessness. These are people who have been built based on their experience to provide leadership, sanity to our leadership in Ambazonia. So, listening to Reverend Ginny, I could see that the background that he has actually accumulated for himself, or experiences that he has accumulated for himself, can actually speak for this moment that we really need people who can stand up and push this revolution forward. So it is really, really important for Ambazonians to realize what these two gentlemen are bringing on the table. They are bringing
Okay,
resilience.
Yes, Dr. Chencho, just a moment. Let me bring Honorable, Chairman Fritz on board. And I don't know if Honorable Sama is this. Chairman Fritz, if you are there now, can I see you, please? I think you signed back on. Okay, okay, there you go. There you go. Chairman Fritz is signing now again. You're looking good. So, not to cut you, Dr. Chencho, let Chairman Fritz just introduce himself briefly so that he can join the discussion.
Yes, thank you very much, our able host. I'm very pleased. I'm very glad to join the campaign team of our able anchor man, Secretary Chris. And seeing the team, seeing the combination that he chose, Honorable Njini, it's a very, very powerful combination. And
Mhm.
I can say that we need something different. We need something to impact this revolution that we have been fighting for so long. Because if we use the same method, the same uh, ideologies, the same thing that's not moving, we can't be using the same thing over and over that is not moving, and we say we are fighting
Mhm.
something. We have to change
Mhm.
strategy. We have to change leadership to move forward. And I'm very happy to join this campaign team. And I know we're gonna do better. We're gonna do better with our able combination between the president to be and our VP, Honorable Alfred Gini. So thank you for the introduction.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. And one thing, let me just say one thing here, because some people may not know who Honorable Reverend Genie is and his role this far in the struggle. Coming from the Sako era, where the man just decided that he went rogue and he wasn't respecting our institutions, he was violating our constitution. Reverend Jenny is one of those at the Restoration Council who stood up, stood firm, and held Sako accountable for what he was trying to do uh, to our institutions. That is when I came to know him. That he was one of those within in the Restoration Council who was instrumental in making sure that the structures of our government were protected. So this is not someone who just came in yesterday. He has been very instrumental and he has not shied away from speaking the truth whenever it was necessary. I just want Ambazonians to know that. That is his background. Speaking the truth forcefully, without fear or favor, and just making sure that the right things were done. This is the person that our candidate, Comrade Chris, has chosen to join him to so that God willing, they will take over the helm of this struggle and get us to Boya. And so, for you to finish your thought, Dr. Atienjo, I just wanted to make that point. So, finish your thought, then we'll hear from Chairman Fritz what he thinks about the candidacy of these two persons.
So what I was saying, Comrade Fritz, you're welcome on board. What I was saying is that if you look at the background of Reverend Ginny, there are a lot of things. He has a very rich background, and he was able to articulate his story starting from his participation in his local LGA, which is Bello, and he actually explained to Ambazonians what he has been doing at the level of his LGA, county, and also at the Restoration Council. He was not sent to the Restoration Council. He was not voted to represent them, represent his LGA at the Restoration Council for nothing. It is based on what he has put in place, his activism. So this is somebody who is coming with a rich background of experience. This is somebody who is coming with a package that is going to push our revolution forward. And in the same way, that is why I describe them as a unique team that is going to bring Ambazonia forward because of their experiences in life. So there's still much for me to say, but I would not like to take much time. I will be coming subsequently to be dissecting the various
I,
parts of his
I,
speech.
I appreciate that you are being time conscious so that will make the discussion more fruitful. Yes, let me go. I think Honorable Sama Thomas is in. Honorable Sama Thomas, can you just introduce yourself, please? Before I do that, I don't know if you are hearing me.
Yes, I can hear you 5 on 5.
Okay, thank you. Because I was talking before, but you were not hearing me. That's why I had to sign
Yeah.
it and sign in and join, sign out and join again. Uh, thank you, Comrade Mike, for bringing me in, and it's a privilege for me to be here with my fellow panelists to talk about the candidature of Secretary Chris and the choice of his vice, which is a wonderful choice. Let me read something from the Bible before I continue. When Reverend Ginny was talking, I said, let me open the Bible without choosing which chapter to read from. But this is what I opened. It's taken from the book of Psalms, Psalm 9, chapter 92, or Psalm 92. It says, we know that your enemies will die, and all the wicked will be defeated. You have made me as strong as a wild ox. You have blessed me with happiness. I have seen the defeat of my enemies, and I heard the cries of the wicked. With this team that Secretary Chris had put in place, we have already seen the defeat of our enemies and the wailing in La Republic through their news outlet. They haven't started crying yet. Those, even within our ranks and file, let me say something, have been outraged today like never before by some of us in this struggle. Because since the day Secretary Chris announces his candidature, some Southern Cameroonians have taken upon themselves not to be attacking the enemy any longer, but their enemy now is Secretary Chris. They have
Mm-hmm.
failed.
Mm-hmm.
They will not succeed in their endeavor for what gonna be, gonna be. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, Honorable Summer Thomas. I was actually going to talk about that as one of the items on the program today. But since you mentioned it, why don't we just deal with it? Because um, we have seen in the past few days, we have seen attacks upon attack upon attack on secretaries. And this is not just coming from La Republic of Cameroon. It's coming from Sako and his, I don't know what to call them anymore. You have seen Ochiba Nelson writing all kinds of crazy things. Of course, he always writes crazy things. They are lamenting, they are wailing. We have seen all kinds of people out there, and the attacks are directed in one direction. La Republic newspapers, La Republic news media, they are attacking Secretary Chris. Now, fellow Ambazonians, let me ask you this. If you have three presidential candidates and those who are opposed to you are attacking one person, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells you that that person that they are attacking is the person they fear the most, is the person who will come after them ferociously, and they don't want that. Why are they not attacking President Marianta? Why are they not attacking Comrade Gertrude? Why are they not attacking them? Because they see them as the weaker ones, those who will not do them any harm. They are afraid of the candidacy of Comrade Chris Arnold because they know exactly what he is going to do to them. The attacks, the relentless attacks against him alone should tell you, Ambazonians, who to vote for. That should tell you who to vote for, who they are afraid of. They are not afraid of anyone else. They want the other people to be there because they know they will have an easy ride. When you are, fellow ambassadors, when you are going into a boxing ring and you have someone there who has had 10 knockout matches, winnings without any defeat, and you have another newbie who is just starting off and has had no winning or barely had one winning. Who are you going to? Would you prefer to go against? The champion who is undefeated, or the ones who are barely trying? I'm sure you know the answer. So it is up to you. If you want someone who will fight for you ferociously without any apologies, someone with a track record of winnings, this candidacy of Comrade Chris and Honorable Reverend Ginny is the only choice that you should go for at this time. Chairman Fritz, I just want to put that on the table because Honorable Sama brought it up, but I wanted to discuss that later. What is your take on this topic? Why these attacks against this presidential pair and not against anyone else?
Yes, just like the panelists have said, talk is very cheap, and you can talk and talk and talk, but the track record of these two individuals, of these two candidates, shows that they have a track record of commitment. They have shown track record of courage in this struggle, and no one can deny that. No one can deny their sacrifices. No one can
Mm-hmm.
deny that they are ready for a radical change. And no matter what you say about someone, but what you have seen cannot deny. You can't deny the truth. It's very difficult to to deny what is there clear. They have shown how they are ready to advance this struggle. Secretary Chris is that kind of reform leader who want to see that drastic change from the very beginning. He has been very consistent, and those are the kind of people we want somebody who want to advance this struggle to a next level, because we have seen that the struggle has reached a kind of deadlock end. And without someone who has a radical change, a radical kind of idea, a rebellious idea, this struggle will be stagnant. So Secretary Chris come and fit in that gap. And I like his courage, because a lot of people don't know. They can criticize him whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. It's irrelevant, because all of us have seen, we have worked with him, we have been there with him, we have seen how he's very committed to this struggle. I'm telling you that I've worked with him hand in glove, and I will tell you from a different aspect, that different projects that we carry out together. I will tell you that Secretary Chris is just fit in, because I myself personally, 3 years ago, I've been telling him that please, you need to take this leadership, you need to take this baton of power, because I see people come with presidential leadership, that kind of reform kind of leadership, but he is a rebellious leader. He is someone we need now at this time of the struggle to finish the work of the other presidents. We appreciate what they have done, but now we need him. Secretary Chris and VP Njini will come and finish this work. And I just want to add this: no matter what people are saying, these two leaders have shown maturity. I've worked with Honorable Njini before. I worked with Secretary Chris before. They have shown maturity. They have shown that they are ready to bridge that gap. Building bridges is very important. We have a lot of people who left this struggle because of the method of leadership of the former presidents. And this unique background that they have, we have to work in and out of Ambazonia. Talk about diplomacy. Diplomacy is non-existent. I'm telling you, that's a very important aspect in this struggle, that we can fight the war whatever we want back in Ambazonia, but if diplomacy is lacking, there is nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? How many presidents have we met? How many diplomats have we met? None. We're just fighting the war, doing war back in Amazonia. Then the side of diplomacy is non-existent. We can't fight a war like that. So I'm very glad that this new leadership will bring that resilience and fearlessness, that sanity, so that we can get back our feet.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Dr. Tianjo, you will realize that when you look at the temperament of these two persons, the temperament of Secretary Chris and the temperament of Honorable Reverend Ginny, The temperament of St. Chris, he's a fiery somebody. He's loud in his eloquence. He's fearless. He says it as he sees it. Sometimes he says too much, but with a good intention. He's courageous, dedicated. But on the other side, you have Reverend Ginny. He's soft spoken, he's a patriot, he's determined, eloquent himself. And his approach to things is more methodical and determined. Now, when you look at these two personalities, one is fiery, one is calm. One is a bit loud spoken, one is gentle. But the one thing that is common to the both of them is their commitment to the freedom of the Southern Cameroons and the fact that both of them have been bruised by the La République du Cameroon. They have experienced the pain that our fellow citizens back home feel every day. The pain of the loss of a loved one. They have experienced it. So I want to ask you, Dr. Tenjo, these two individuals kind of complement each other. So that what one lacks, the other one makes up. That's how I see it. And you could not have found a more perfect pair to serve at this time as our presidential couple. What's your take on this? These two characters that so perfectly complement each other. So where Secretary is more eager to speak, Reverend Ginny is more reserved, thoughtful. So this is the ideal pair that we need to pilot our affairs at this time. Not both of them being too calm or being too fiery. One is fiery, one is a bit calm. So they will complement each other and make a wonderful pair. Am I wrong in this analysis, Dr. Tianjo?
Well, I would say no. You have actually you've analyzed the two of them very well. And one thing I would like to say is that as part of his their campaign team, I would like to translate their temperament, and I would use one word to describe it. This is a team that has a vigorous agenda based on what their different temperaments have actually prepared. It means that they are pumped up. They have an agenda. They have an aggressive agenda for this revolution. When I say that they have an aggressive agenda or they're going to be aggressive based on the temperament that they all have, I'm saying that they're going to be very productive when it comes to the Ambazonian struggle. And I can give you examples. Under Secretary Chris or Comrade Chris and the Reverend Ginny, you are going to see a vibrant financial team that is not only going to put the burden on Ambazonians, but they are going to exploit opportunities that would bring money to our revolution. And you know, as Reverend Ginny said it, money is the driving force of a like ours. So with their vibrant nature, they are going to actually knock every door that is necessary or important or relevant, and then money will be brought in into our struggle. You know, we have been in stagnation for a long time where people depend, they go and sit in their closets and they depend on Ambazonians, a few Ambazonians to run the revolution. That is not what we want. We want to expand the base. So with them, they are vigorous. Their vigorosity is going to also expand to the level of building our people, building Ambazonians, and calling on all Ambazonians to come and have a sense of belonging, to come and claim the ownership of this revolution. When you create a revolution, you make some people feel like they do not belong to this revolution. That is where you create problems. But the ticket of Comrade Chris and Reverend Ginny is going to be a ticket that is going to give back this revolution to the people and tell people that this is your property. You own this revolution. Contribute to this revolution and make this revolution work. And that is how many people are going to come, because we know that a lot of people have fallen off just because of of leaders, the kind of leaders we have had in the past, weak
Mhm, mhm.
leaders, leaders without any kneecap, leaders with bogus agendas that have nothing to do, leaders with failed agenda and projects. But I believe with this vigorosity that is going to be put on the table by these leaders, we are going to see that Secretary Chris as well as Reverend Ginny, this pair is going to bring this revitalize, revamp the population. Then going to diplomacy. These are individuals whose temperament is going to play positively to our revolution. What are they going to do? Reverend Ginny is going to come on with a soft tone. Reverend Comrade Chris is going to come with that progressive attitude. And this combination is going to lure diplomats, is going to lure international partners who are going to come into play. And then we build our case because our people are suffering. Why are they suffering? They are suffering because we have not designed an aggressive agenda for our revolution. So this is a pair that is going to come with an aggressive agenda for our revolution and things will work. Then not to talk of how the suffering of the people. This Reverend Ginny is a pastor. He knows what humanitarian is. Chris has biblical background. He knows what humanitarian is. These are people who are going to look in the eyes of our refugees. They are going to use that aggressive agenda they have built on their temperament, which is actually consolidated by the fact that they are so humanitarian in nature. They are going to look at our refugees in the eyes and say, refugees, we feel your pain. This is what you need. You need education. You need food. You need trading opportunities for you to learn trade. And they're also going to look into our prisoners and tell them, you are here suffering, but we are aware of what you are going through. We are going to form a legal team that is going to see how they can release you from the suffering of in the dungeons of La Republic.
Uh,
So they
okay.
have a large agenda,
Yeah,
and this aggressive based on
yeah,
their
Dr.
back.
Tender. Dr. Tender,
Thank
we will get to our refugees towards the end of the show. Let me pick on a point you just made there about diplomacy, to be more specific, the need for us to bring all Ambazonians back together and make sure that we form the coalition, we remake the coalition we had in 2017, 2018. We have to do this. But this is, like I said before, that both Secretary Chris and Honorable Reverend Njini have experienced the violence of La Republique du Cameroon. I wasn't very specific about it. We remember that Secretary Chris's family house was burned down. The mother jailed, the sister jailed, and of course, of recent, we know that FMA was killed. So he has felt the pains just like any other Ambazonian family out there that has suffered the violence of La Republic. In the same light, Honorable Reverend Ginny just told us that he lost his father through the violence of La Republique de Cameroon when they came into their family compound and shot him dead in front of their mother, and the mother had to run away. And the cousin was also killed. These are people who have experienced the violence of La Republique de Cameroon. So they feel the pain that any other ambassador out there is feeling, those who are experiencing the violence right now. Now, in terms of bringing Ambazonians together, the temperament that Reverend Ginny has and his profession, first of all, will play a pivotal role in bringing together Ambazonians under one umbrella. He will be very instrumental in being able to talk to those who, for one reason or the other, had felt discouraged and had fallen back on supporting the struggle. When he reaches out to other comrades who are not in the struggle right now, or other factions who are doing their own thing, he will have the voice and the temperament to be able to convince them on the need for us to come together. Honorable Sama Thomas, I want you to speak on this because I know you have been one of those who favors our coming together and fighting as one body. But we also understand that there are challenges in that light because there are some of our comrades who have not behaved themselves as those who are truly committed in seeing the freedom or the liberation of the Southern Cameroons. There are some who have actually gone out and have done things that are contrary to the objective that we seek to achieve in this struggle. So this will be a delicate one to navigate. But who else could be more suitable to do this job than Honorable Reverend Njini, who is the presidential vice presidential candidate? So, Honorable Sama Thomas, I want to hear you expatiate on this. Honorable Sama Thomas, okay, your mic.
We can't hear you.
Okay.
All right.
Can you?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to deal with the aspect of who can bring people to. You see, in the Southern Bronx, we are not brothers. We are not friends. The sake of our suffering, we have that opportunity to reconcile our differences. For
Honorable Sama
peaceful
Thomas,
and
your audio is a bit shaky there. We can't get you so clearly. Can you come closer, or let's see if that is better?
okay. I don't know if now.
Just try. Just keep on. Let me see.
Can you hear me? Yes. Can
It's not getting better. It's not getting better. I don't know what just happened. It was fine before, but it's shaky
I
now.
don't know. I don't know what is going because everything with me here, I don't.
Just shake a few things. Let me pass the microphone to Chairman Fritz. Just shake a few things and come back. Let's see if it gets better. You come in after
Okay.
Chairman Fritz. Mhm. Chairman Fritz, if you'd like to take on that, what do you think Honorable Reverend Njini brings to the table when it comes to bringing Ambazonians back together to re-establish the coalition we had in 2017, 2018?
Okay, yes. I want to base my answer to that in 3 points that are very prevalent between Secretary Chris and VP Njini. The aspect of commitment. When they say you are committed to something, it means that you really want to develop, you want to try to make sure that you have that advantage over the situation. That commitment is very important. It's very important in everything you do in anything. So what we see in them is both they have similarity in commitment in this struggle. And when you are committed, it gives you that temperament and courage to do anything you want. And both of them they have those temperament. When you come with temperament, with good temperament, you can solve a lot of problems. Problem solving has been a number one issue in this struggle. Most leaders cannot solve problems. From the very beginning, we have a lot of problems that could not be solved. So they just leave the problem there. They say, okay, let's just move forward. The problem is going to solve itself. No, we have to learn problem solving skill is that of leadership. And I see Secretary Chris coming in with that. Because if you look at the previous administration with Sako, Secretary Chris' number one issue was problem solving. Sako could not solve one single problem. There was a lot of problems that were boiling in the cabinet that he could not solve. So I see Secretary Chris coming in now to have that skill. Then communication, very important. Most leaders lack this skill in this struggle. They don't know how to communicate. And communication can pass all the doors you want, from diplomacy to humanitarian to all kinds of door you want to break in this struggle for us to get to Boya. Secretary Chris can with that communication skills. What about interpersonal? interpersonal skills. Reverend Njini, I've seen him. He's a reverend. He's a reverend pastor. All pastors have that skills. How to bring the congregation together. Bringing people together is an interpersonal skills that every leader needs. And Reverend Ginny has a skill. Secretary Chris, you know it. All of us know it. He's very good at interpersonal skills. He can bring people together. He knows how to communicate and bring people from all angles. So that one is done. Then talking about coalition, there is need for a coalition. I'm very happy that we have the ACT team there, but we're gonna revitalize the ACT team to have strong coalition so that when we go to any diplomatic move, you mentioned diplomacy. Diplomacy, we need to go with a very powerful voice. And I see Secretary Chris coming with that one solid voice that when we go, we knock any door, it will be open for us. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Thank you, Chairman Fritz. I don't know if Honorable Saman Thomas is able to come back in. Honorable Saman Thomas, were you able to re-establish your audio?
Well, I don't know if you can hear me.
That is much better. That's much better. I like that. I like that. So come on in and share with us what you think about uh, this pair being able to bring Ambazonians back together, what each of them brings to the table that will be able to accomplish this much needed task. Because a lot of Ambazonians have said, we want you to be together, we want you to be fighting together, we don't want all these factions. So, how do you think this presidential pair brings, what do they bring to the table that will be able to accomplish this objective?
I was very impressed about a week ago or so, or 2 weeks ago, when Secretary Chris was addressing something that concerns Comrade Ayaba. He addresses Comrade Ayaba as Chairman Ayaba.
Mhm.
The very first thing for you to do in building bridges is by respecting your opponent. By respecting that person that opposes you. Once you do that, you'll be able to reach out to everybody. Eh, Comrade Chris and my other fellow panelists have dwelled much on this, but let me ask a question to Southern Cameroonians. I'm saying Southern Cameroons as a company now. If you are a director of a company and you set out to employ workers in your company, you will need them to give you a curriculum vitae. In the case of Secretary Chris and other candidates, if Secretary Chris puts out his curriculum vitae, we're able to match Secretary Chris with that of other candidates. Let me put it this way. In Secretary Chris' curriculum vitae, he will spell out, I've done this in this struggle. I've invited this diplomat in this struggle. I've invited this gun. I've reached out to Nigeria when Ayok Tabe was arrested. I've reached out to Somaliland only because of the Southern Cameroon struggle. I've called Tibo Nash. I've interviewed him about one or two occasions. I've called Madame Chitambori of Zimbabwe, if I'm not mistaken, to interview her over what we say ABC and ABS. Now, is there any other candidate that can mash up Secretary Chris' curriculum vitae? If at all, the Southern Cameroons need a competent person to run its corporation. If at all, the Southern Cameroons is a company. If there is any other person that is more than this, then let Southern Cameroonians come out to tell me that the candidature of Secretary Chris and that of his running mate is not the perfect match for the Southern Cameroon's liberation quest. Then, secondly, the punch that La Republic has given to Secretary Chris and Reverend Jim, I think that already is a flame, not just a flame, but a magma that is burning in these people to see that they get rid of La Republic in Southern Cameroon. Any Southern Cameroon who is not looking at things from this perspective, then that person
does not want us to reach Boya as as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sama Thomas. I like the way you have put it there. I like the way you have put it, and I would like to follow through with this. In order for diplomacy to work, you must be able to have access to those that matter. That is what Ambazonians need to understand. In order for you to succeed in diplomacy, you must be able to have access to those that matter. And when you look at all of the candidates that are running for the office of president of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia at this time, nobody comes close to what Senator Chris brings to the table. I would have loved to call the names of some diplomats that he has access to, but for the sake of for confidential reasons, I cannot call the names here. But he has contacts with very important persons around the world in important places, those who can open doors for us, journalists, diplomats, leaders. He has brought some on his shows, and that's not all. The list here you have seen on his shows are only those that are willing to be known publicly. There are many others who do not want to come out now. He has those contacts. So ambassadors need to know that this is someone who has been tried and tested, who has the knowledge, the experience, and the necessary contacts to deliver for ambassadors. So it's up to ambassadors to take him or leave it. If you want your freedom, you have the perfect candidate here and the perfect vice presidential candidate here who can deliver for us. We don't need to go up wandering around the bush like the Israelites for 40 years or whatever it was. This is someone
Evidence.
who is ready to go. And to talk about this communication that some people like to talk about. So, oh, he's good at communication. Just stay at communication. No, no. The best use of your communication skills is in leadership. It is your communication skills that you will use to strike the kinds of deals that Ambazonia will need to succeed, to convince the people that will need to be convinced, to reach the audience that will need to reach. That is what you need a communication for, to motivate our fighters, to motivate our civilians on the ground, to be committed to the struggle. We don't need someone who just talk with a soft voice and with boring, and people say, but what is this person talking about? We need someone when he speaks, both our supporters and our opponents take note. That is who we need at this time, and that is what we're getting. So, Dr. Tianjo, if you can throw some light on this, I don't know if I said it all, but please, I want to hear your own thoughts on this because some people don't understand that when you see the president of Ukraine during the war, you see he's always out there explaining to the Ukrainians what is going on, asking the war leaders that, see, give me these weapons, give me that. I need this to fight this war. He is out there asking for the resources that are needed to fight the war and win it. If you sit there and you're not saying anything, how do you expect to get help? And that is where Secretary comes in. Am I wrong, Honorable Attention? Dr. Attention.
Okay, thank you for the promotion, making me an honorable member of the House, and I'm delighted. Yeah, so
Maybe
I
that's
wish
where
to
you are
be in
going
the
next.
House. Yeah, I think I need to talk to my LGA so that they can send me to the House. But we have a powerful representative in the House, so I don't want to go there. So
All right.
yes, what you have said, I just want us to discuss something here that Honorable Sama brought to the picture. The fact that our people are are criticizing Secretary Chris. What really bothers me, I don't care about the criticism coming from Sako. We know why. You and I, we know why they are criticizing. But what I care about is a group of some little minds who have been congregated to come in fora and be spreading insults to honorable people, insults to committed Ambazonians, and then not to talk of bringing and robbing the name of Secretary Chris, who has offered a lot to this revolution in more. What really tells me is that Ambazonians are not hungry enough. Because if they were hungry, they will not embrace the status quo. The status quo is doing nothing. The state, the state of our revolution now is dormant. The stagnation has been for a long time. And these two gentlemen, Comrade Chris and Reverend Njini, have fire or magma boiling in them. They are about to explode. And this explosion needs to put them in a position of leadership so that when they explode, La Republic will know that something has happened in Ambazonia. So when you talk about their qualities, the qualities are just so overwhelming because of the contacts that Secretary Chris has, Reverend Njini, that combination is going to bring on board. We see a visionary leadership that has an agenda intended to catapult us to Boya in the shortest time possible. Okay, look at the rhetoric. Secretary Chris has been consistent from day one and up to today. But I find people who go around and say, oh, he is a good communication secretary. He should not be for president. If he cannot go and communicate and articulate our problem as a leader, who do you want to sit there? Or you want somebody who is in coma, a sleeping mama, to be in the position, and then what is it that we are going to benefit from that? This struggle is about us progressing to Boya. It's not about some people sitting there and soliciting for celebrity status, or people looking for opportunities to be recognized or adored or accorded respect. That is not what we are all about. We are about a struggle that needs to be progressive, not a struggle that needs to be stagnated and people honoring titles. Titles have failed us. I don't know how long we are going to tell Ambazonians. Titles have failed us. We should, when we abandon the idea of embracing titles and celebrating titles over the interests of Ambazonians, that is when we are going to know the truth. So our collective effort in promoting these two gentlemen to the office of president and vice president would be a victory for abandonment of titles, abandonment of stagnation, and progress for our revolution. So what I'm saying here is that Secretary Chris, with the vibrant nature that he is, and being a straight shooter, we know that our diplomacy is going to be revamped. I would like to tell Ambazonians that we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of a loaded program within the diplomacy department. And these programs have been buried. And some individuals have sat on them because they think that some other people are the ones that are going to do it. And if they do it, they are going to bring fame to themselves, solicit fame to themselves. We do not need such leaders. We need leaders like Secretary Chris who are so generous. And we have heard about opportunities that he has brought to us. He has brought to this revolution. And once he brings it, he sends it to the power that be, and to those who are responsible. And they execute it. He doesn't even come around to seek for praises. So why do we have to bring somebody? Why do we have to keep on nursing or supporting individuals who do not have a progressive agenda for our revolution? These are candidates that have something to offer. So my dear Ambazonians, we need to look at things in a progressive way. Until we abandon this idea of titles and respect, we will not go anywhere, or we are not going anywhere without
Dr. Chandra, let me pivot this discussion a little bit to this. We have seen the damage that blacklegs and enablers have caused to this struggle. We know the pain that blacklegs and enablers have caused us in this trouble. Now, I am putting blacklegs and enablers on notice. Let me put you on notice. With Secretary Chris as president, he has personally felt the pains from blacklegs and enablers. He has felt the pains from blacklegs and enablers. And I am putting you on notice. If you are a blackleg or enabler in the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, with Secretary Chris and Reverend Njini as president and vice, run for your life. I say run for your life, because blacklegs will not be tolerated henceforth in Ambazonia. I don't have to say much about this. If you are a blackleg in Ambazonia, and with Secretary Chris and Reverend Njini, who have both felt the pains of the torture and humiliation and bloodshed from the criminal soldiers of La République through the help of some blacklegs in our own very soil. You have to be very, very careful not to be identified as a blackleg or an enabler under this new government, which will take over soon. So you are put on notice. And if you Ambazonians want to see this canker worm destroyed once and for all, you know who to choose. You know exactly who to choose. So, Honorable Sama Thomas, I would like for you to comment on this issue of black, because I know you know it very well, because you are involved with our defense as well. What do you think this presidential pair will bring to the table when it comes to the fight against blacklegs and enablers? Honorable Sama Thomas. go in, you see, for you to know that this is actually true, if you go to something else, and I don't know if there's a technical hitch or whatever. Hello? Fellow Ambazonians, sorry for that technical hitch. Sorry for that technical hitch. It was unexpected. I'm sorry we had that disruption, but we were almost at the end of the program anyway. So I would like for you to just sit tight, and so we can bring to you our final thoughts. We'll bring to you our final thoughts, and that will be the end of the show. So, Honorable Sama Thomas, I don't know if you're still there, but we were almost at the end, and I was asking you what do you think about these black legs, which should be one of our targets in the next phase of our struggle, because we have seen the damage that they have caused to us, the pain that they have caused us. Honorable Sama Thomas, I don't know if you're there. If you're there, please, just 1 minute to round up your thoughts on these black legs, and then I'll go to Chairman Fritz to get his own thoughts as well. Honorable Sama Thomas, you seem not there. If Chairman Fritz, if you are there, please. I would like to hear what you have to say to this. These black legs and enablers.
Okay, yes, you know, we have been in this struggle for the past 6 years, and a lot of things have been going on when we see what the blacklists and the enablers are doing.
Mhm,
And I want to say that we have had a lot of hindrances, a lot of drawbacks, setbacks, because of these people called blacklegs or whatever they call themselves. But I want to say that Ambazonians are not angry and hungry enough, because the time will reach when, as we see this new leadership coming in, there will be a lot of cleansing going on when it comes to black
mhm,
leg and enablers, because these are the people slowing this the struggle. If you see, black legs have caused a lot of things in this struggle. So many things
mhm,
have gone wrong because of them.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I want to make it clear that this new leadership will come with that strong agenda, that agenda to cleanse these people, call them black leg or whatever they call themselves. Because if we don't do that, this struggle will be going backward. We need to remove them from this environment. They either
mhm,
pack and go, or they stop what they're doing to allow us to live, to arrive Boya peacefully. I want to make this clear. When it comes to leadership and sanity, the sanity means that cleaning all these people who call themselves black leg. Secretary Chris is able to do that. I know he's able to do that. The experiences that he brings with the vice president, I know they will be doing that, and I'm very happy with the combination. And I know with the help of other members of the team, they bring that rich background, that skill, that unique team to lead
mhm.
us to a very successful end.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Dr. Tianjo, yes, on this issue of black legs, and if by extension you can talk about the issue of civility in our campaigns. Our presidential candidate has called for civility in our discourse during this campaign season, so that we don't focus the attention on trivialities, on name calling, on insults, and then that we should focus our discussions on the real issues that affect Ambazonians. What is going to bring us the victory that we want? That is where the debate should be, not about calling people names, because that's not going to help us in any way. So I want to ask you, talking about blacklegs, if you can expand and go to the issue of the need for civility in our interactions, in our debates during the course of this presidential election. It's very important. It will show to the international community how mature we are in what we're trying to do here. But if we just end up throwing insults at each other, they will look at us as childish, that we don't know what we're doing. So please, can you share your thoughts on these two things? And then if you could just round up and give your final thoughts, because we're almost at the end, and then we can call it a day. Dr. Tianjo, I don't know if Honorable Sama Thomas came back, but I haven't seen him yet. Dr. Tianjo, if you are there, please. Um, if not, Chairman Fritz, you can, if you can take on that, the need for civility in our debates and this struggle. The need for us to be civil to each other, focus on discussions and debates that foster our struggle. Who has the best ideas? That's what democracy is about. Who has the best ideas should win, right? So, and the best talent is the best capability of delivering the results. So, your thoughts on that before I round up?
Yes, uh, I think when it comes to political campaign is about uh, your promises and achieving them, because it's not just mere talking. If you have a plan of action and you can go through with them, then that's good promises, campaign promises. But when people just throw insults, they don't have plan. Anyone that
Mhm.
just go about and throw insult and say, "Oh, this man is this man is it," what is your plan? And what do you think your own leader can bring that this leader cannot bring? That is what we're talking about. We have to debate these issues, debate the issues about sacrifice, issues about courage, issues about commitment, issues about communication, issues about the
About defense.
humanitarian side of things, issues about
Mhm.
diplomacy. Those issues are what we have to debate and see who can deliver, because it's not about talking now. Talk is very cheap. You can talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk. We want somebody who can talk the talk and walk the walk.
You walk the
And that
walk.
is what we are seeing here. Who can sacrifice for the people? Who has that temperament? Who has that commitment? Who has that skill for to lead us? That's what we're talking about here. Who is rebellious? Who wants social change? Who can advance us? Who can develop our country? That's what we're talking about. We need a revolutionary leader. We need somebody who can bring that change. And Secretary Chris is that somebody where we have worked with him, we have seen him, and he has that those skills to law this international organization, to law these international diplomats. That is what we want. Someone with aggressive agenda to make sure that we move from one level to another. We can. There's a saying that doing the same thing and expecting different result.
The
We
different
can't be
result.
doing the same thing all the time and expect different result. So we want a change of leadership, change of mentality. That is what makes a movement move from one level to another. And
To
Secretary
another.
Chris will do that. Not those people trying to talk, that just talking, then empty talk. We don't want empty
Mhm.
talk now. We want delivering campaign promises.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Fritz, and thank you again for coming on board today to help us in this analysis. Fellow Ambazonians, what I would like to say here is this. When it comes to this debate, the debates that we're going to have in this during this presidential season, presidential election season, it is very important that we understand this, that it is not the number of insults or how sharp your tongue is that's going to win the vote or that will convince Amazonians that you're the right person. It is the ideas that you bring to the table and the processes that you indicate to the Amazonian people that you'll be able to put in place that will deliver the results. Because empty promises too don't matter. It is your track record. What have you accomplished this far? And your consistency throughout the course of this struggle. These are the things that will matter. What can you do for defense? What can you do for diplomacy? What can you do to help our refugees? How are we going to win this war? These are the things that should matter in our discourse. You see, I have during the various in the various fora that we have for this struggle, we've seen all kinds of comments, even from fellow comrades with whom we have worked very closely. And it's very painful because it distracts us from what is important. You see, personally, I would not like, I may disagree with a fellow comrade. I may disagree with people Abongo. I may disagree with the president. And just because I disagree with them does not mean that someone from outside has the right to come in and do them harm. If I found someone from outside coming in to do them harm, I will be the first person to knock that person out. Yeah, I will knock that person out because just because we are having a disagreement in our house does not give you the right to then come in and hurt my brother or my sister. We have a saying in my dialect which says, "Brothers fight with elbows, not with fists." That means brothers fight with their elbows, not with their fists, because you can do a lot of damage with your fists, but there's only so much damage you can do with your elbows. So, in the house of the Amazonian people, wherever you are, let us fight with our elbows, not with our fists. And if anybody should come in from outside, be it La Republique or any other enemy, or the French, or whichever person out there that wants to hurt us, we should be able to protect each other against those enemies. But in house, we can have our differences. We can even curse at each other. But it is our house. Those from outside should not have the liberty to come in and hurt any of us. We should be able to stand up and defend each other against the others. That should be the attitude that we have going forward. That despite the fact that we may have differences in house, let us discuss civilly on important issues and making sure that we protect each other. Not this issue of us betraying each other to La Republique or any other enemies out there. It is wrong and it is foolish. And I would really beg that we get out of this mentality. It shows us as being foolish. They call us Anglophiles. We cannot fit in that mold. We cannot allow them to feed us in that mold, feed us in that mold because of the things we do. It is self-degrading, and it makes it impossible for us to move forward as a people. So that is what I'm urging us to come together, have our differences in-house, but when we go out, let's speak with one voice. If we do that, the dream of a free and independent Ambazonia will be ours in the very nearest future. And so, again, we are unveiling the presidential pair, Secretary Chris Anu and Honorable Reverend Njini, the couple that we believe would deliver on the dreams and aspirations of the Ambazonian people. Fellow Ambazonians, let's give them a chance. And I'm sure they will deliver for us. Thank you for listening, and good night.